advice for anyone with any type of car, turboed or not turboed. Check your oil level, check the oil quality, make sure it's not super black or anything. Cheaper to do an oil change than buy an engine. What's going on, guys? Good morning, good afternoon. It's now days after mod, and I've been working the past couple days. Yesterday I literally had a 12-hour shift, straight from the 12-hour shift to a back and buy split at the gym. Literally was up till like almost midnight, and I got up at work till at 5 a.m. I know some of you guys are watching this like, yeah, I pull like all-nighters and stuff, but y'all are crazy. Anyway, guys, the Evo 10 has officially sold. We finally got the car sold. Amir Auto Gallery, Mitsubishi in Corona finally did me the solid in finding a buyer. The other day I had to go sign papers before mod, and I actually had this idea to film this video because one of the most requested things I ever get on this channel is, should I buy an Evo? Should I buy an Evo? Should I buy an Evo? And as you guys know, we post a lot of stuff with Evos. I have friends with Evos. I've had multiple Evos. I've had an Evo 9, then an Evo 10, then this Evo 9, then another Evo 10, then I bought this Evo 9 back. Got a lot of financial mistakes. But before we get into the topic and title of the video, I wanted to kind of recap some of the footage I filmed at Mitsubishi that I thought was funny, I wanted to include. So we're going to roll some of that footage right now, and then we'll get into today's present day video. Alrighty, guys, we just pulled up to Auto Gallery Mitsubishi in Corona, which if you guys missed it, my car was listed for sale here. I'll post a picture of both Evos together, which is funny that I had that. And funny enough, there actually was a really cool car meet here like 5 years ago. That's how I found out about this place and met Amir. I'm going to post the link in the description down below. If you guys want to see a sick Mitsubishi meet, there's a link in my bio, or link in the description down below. But let's go sign these papers, and then we'll check on the homie right now who works here. Alright, guys, we're at the dealership. I'm waiting to sign the papers. We got Mr. Service Manager himself.
What's up?
Mr. Mitsubishi, who's seen me sell like 5 Evos here.
Sold one and then bought it back the next day.
Yeah, exactly. Adrian, I'm making a video for people. Would you recommend someone to buy an Evo in 2023?
I wouldn't buy anything right now, honestly. Buy one of those, what I'm driving right now.
The Celica?
Poopy little Celica, $2,000. We've been working for like a year now with no problems.
I have a 2001 Corolla, right?
You do?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, those things, anything like
I've had it for 4 years, dude. They live forever.
Yeah, anything like from the 2000, 2005 era, buy one of those for like $2-3 grand, you're chilling.
Yeah, good gas mileage.
What people think what you look like in that car, bro. I'm saving money.
But this guy's biased because he's a 1,000 horsepower Z, so that's what he's not telling you guys.
Shh, no one needs to know. It's only making like 400.
Adrian hooked it up with the charcoal pie. I haven't had this since I was in like elementary school, but right now he's helping a customer unload a car because he towed it here himself. But yeah, guys, you heard it from Mr. Mitsubishi himself. Right now may not be a good time to buy an Evo. We'll dive more in depth in a second as I wait for my paperwork. Damn, that E85 cold start. Sat for like 3-4 days, fires right up. Anyone that says that you can't have a good cold start because your car's on E85, that is just not true. Like, this car's a 2006. My Super STI, that was a 2017 on flex fuel also. Fired right up. I'll tell you what, guys, if you guys are going through a hard time, family troubles, relationship troubles, work, finances, just life stress, take a drive, man. Take a drive, go get some coffee, get out of the house, go catch a workout, go on a hike, just get out of the house and go do something different to switch up your routine. You'll be amazed at how much better you feel. At some point, guys, we're gonna have to film like a pure sound, just like, I don't know, just eargasm in the canyon of driving this car, because I used to drive my first Evo 9 in the canyons all the time. I used to live in Arcadia. I was super close to Angeles Crest Highway. I'm sure you guys know the name ACH. But man, every time I drive through this little back road, I'm just cruising right now. I'm not getting on it, obviously, because this thing needs an oil change and it's kind of neglected for some maintenance. But God, these cars handle so good in the back roads, it's ridiculous. You guys know the vibes. Normally I never get breakfast because I know it's expensive at Starbucks. This coffee and sandwich was literally $12. And I'm not cheap, and I left a tip because I used to be a barista. Starbucks was my first job, and I always feel bad when people don't tip, so I ended up doing it. But never again getting a sandwich because it is way too expensive. I'm too poor to be doing this kind of stuff. If you guys don't believe me that the roads are always unfinished, this is your guys' proof right here. Look at this is crazy. What the hell? I'm like driving in the bike lane, yo. Like straight up. Caltrans about to owe me some tires. Some of you guys may remember this parking lot. When I first got this car, this is actually where I filmed the unveiling, because where I live is very difficult to find anywhere where you can film a YouTube video and not get harassed. But I actually came down here to film the video not that long ago. I ended up just taking a couple pictures, which I'll insert one right now. Enough lollygagging though, we're trying to beat the heat. It's already like 9 degrees in the morning. Guys, if you click this video and you guys are curious about buying a Mitsubishi Evo, this is gonna be a very raw, unedited, just straight to the point, you know, no fancy editing, no cinematics, no donut media, hooligan style video. This is just straight to it. Are these cars worth buying? And this is what I'm talking about with like Evo 8s, 9s, and 10s. I know people are gonna ask about, what about the 5? What about the 6? I'm not talking about those. I'm just talking about what the USDM market and what's relatively available. As I mentioned earlier in the video, I have had several Evos. I've had a total of 4 of them. And, you know, really briefly, what makes Evo special, I'm just going to kind of go through it in case you guys are new to it or don't understand the hype. They're all-wheel drive. They're manual transmission only unless you do an Evo 10 SST, which is the 6-speed dual clutch, which you don't want to do that because they're super expensive. And if they break or anything, it's going to hurt your wallet. But Evos are notorious for the way they handle, the power that they put down, and just how insanely fast they accelerate or enter a corner or exit a corner, being balanced, just aggressive, maniacal acceleration. You know, being able to make 1,000 horsepower and go 7 seconds in a straight line, as well as be able to rally off-road. You know, obviously the whole beef between Colin McRae and Tommy Mäkinen during the rally days of Subaru versus Mitsubishi was the biggest hype for the brand and pushed the brand forward in terms of sales and just the hype for the cars and the desire to have a rally car that was street legal with air conditioning and power steering on the street. So that's pretty much like the hype of why people want Evos, because mainly street racing, you know, street racing popularized the platform as well as rally racing, I would say. And just being like, I would say, honestly, the most gnarly sedan that you could probably purchase. Like these cars, I don't really know any other 4-door all-wheel drive turbo car that was a freaking sedan that was just insane. Subaru STIs are really cool cars too, and I'm not bashing Subarus, but the Evos have always been, I just feel like that extra, like if the Subaru was up to volume 8 or 9, the Evo was like 10 or 11, just tweaked a little bit more, a little sharper, a little more just aggressive. And there was a cop that just passed by right now that clearly saw me filming this video, and I'm scared he's gonna come back right now because I think this parking lot you're supposed to have a pass, and I don't. We're gonna find out. So I feel like to keep this video from being like an hour long and just me babbling on and getting straight to the point, number one, let's just go straight into it. Price. Evos, clean title, unmodified, relatively low miles. I feel like we'll run you at least 30, 40,000. You might get lucky and find something in the 20s, like 20, 25. I've seen salvage title cars go for like 25,000 now, which is crazy. All honestly, guys, this is like straight up the truth, and this is something that people don't understand with Evos and that no one will ever say. You have to really, really, really love the platform, because honestly, I don't know many people that'd be down to pay 30, 40 grand for a Mitsubishi. Most people, you say that and they're like, what? Like, you can get a BMW M3. I don't know, there's just so many other platforms you can get for 30, 40 grand, and a lot of people, if you don't love Mitsubishi stuff, there's no way you'll ever justify paying the 30, 40 grand for the car, and then also spending another 15, 20 grand in mods. You know, if you're gonna build the engine, you're gonna get tuned, you're gonna go standalone, get a built trans, all that good stuff. It is super expensive to build an Evo. There are other platforms that are more, you know, if you're using what's relative, like, oh, like people build Calvo Motorsports Vipers, and some of their packages are like 100,000 plus, obviously, but you're talking about 2,000 horsepower V10 cars, where this is just an all-wheel drive 4-cylinder. It's a Japanese sedan, so not really the same. You know, I feel like any American muscle car that's making, you know, an excess of power like that is going to be way more than a lot of the import Japanese cars I've seen. But number one, heads up, it's going to be freaking expensive. And not only that, you have to really know the car well. This is not a forgiving platform in the sense of you can just slap a bunch of cheap moving parts, like get cheap cams, get cheap bearings, pistons, rods, eBay turbo, slap it all together, make 1,000 horsepower reliably. No, that's not going to happen. If you guys think this is that kind of platform, it's not for you. I'm just going to hit the brakes on you right now. Don't even consider it, because there's cars like junkyard Silverado motor LSs that do eBay turbos that make like 800 plus, and probably will take more of a beating for a cheaper budget. And to be honest, there's so many good cars nowadays, like the M340i with the B58, or the Mark V Supra with the B58, the S550, or the new S650 Mustang, C7 and C8 Corvettes, and like there's just so many good cars that are coming out now that honestly, as much as it breaks my heart to say it, these are becoming old technology, just like the other old Japanese cars you guys are used to seeing, like SR20s and RBs and JZs. And yes, they make great power, yes, they're legendary, yes, they sound awesome, but there is newer technology out there in the world of performance, and honestly, this is quickly becoming outdated. And what was fast, you know, for 2006, or even fast for, let's say 5-6 years ago, a 600 horsepower Evo 5-6 years ago was beating everything in the street and was unstoppable. Now, honestly, I wouldn't really call it unstoppable. There's a lot of cars out there that would honestly probably give it a good runs for money, if not gap it. Random and unimportant, but I never noticed that the Vortex generator on this car actually was tarmac black, because if you guys don't know, tarmac black actually has like sparkles and flake in it. Dude, that looks so sick. Wow. Moving along, talking about Evo stuff, replacement parts are getting ridiculously hard to find. They used to be able to get OEM alternator and OEM starter from STM, and it was like $1,000 for each part, which is insane. $1,000 for an alternator, $1,000 for the starter. Now they don't even make it. I know you can go aftermarket, and there's other companies that are now making starters and alternators and alternatives, but what I'm getting at is OEM Mitsubishi parts are very, very expensive. Like, even if you wanted to do an OEM short block with pistons and rods for one of these, like just a stock motor, it's like $4,000 plus. I've seen some companies that sell for like $3,000, but I would budget around $400 to $4,400 plus some taxes in there. Versus Subaru sells a Type RA motor for like, I think it's like $2,000 or something, and you can make like almost 600 stock block, which is crazy. So theoretically, you could actually blow up the motor in an STI and replace it for a lot cheaper than what it costs for these. The engine is pretty much double the cost as far as like replacement parts go. And that goes for a lot of things. You know, Mitsubishi says that they only made about 8,000 Evo 9s in the US market. And I don't really know the production numbers for the Evo 8. I'll probably post it on screen if I can find it. But moral of the story is that, you know, these cars, finding replacement parts is very difficult because they didn't really make a lot of them. And Mitsubishi never really made a lot of money selling these cars. They did it mainly for the fans that were supporting the rally racing and that were dying to have a rally car basically for the street. But they always made more money on electronics, air conditioning, selling passenger vehicles like just normal Lancers, SUVs, crossovers, things like that. And in today's market, honestly, the Evo has no place. There's just so much better cars for the money. The EPA would have been all over Mitsubishi to make this a super dulled down, probably hybrid or some kind of just, I don't know. I think the Evo 10 was the best Evo they could have made, given the EPA was strong-arming Mitsubishi. And just to circle back, you know, replacement parts are very expensive, and ties back into that Mitsubishi name, guys. Like, you got to really love the car, really have a passion for Evo stuff, and if your heart isn't in these kinds of projects or this car, honestly, this is not a good platform for you. You should definitely buy something newer or buy something else with replacement parts that are more available, a platform that is cheaper, you know, things like that, because this is stuff you have to go into. You don't want to buy a $30,000-$40,000 car and then figure this out after you already arrived. Like, imagine you guys are buying a house and you skip the home inspection just to find out that, you know, the electric and the plumbing is terrible or things like that. It's just all things to consider while you're going into building one of these cars. My last but not least point, and this is kind of like 2 points in one, is the fact that honestly, these aren't the most comfortable cars to daily drive. And there's a lot of newer cars that you can make a ton of horsepower on and daily drive the car, and it honestly have good driving drivability or good driving daily driver characteristics. I don't think this is one of them. Not saying that you can't daily drive it. I love driving this car on the street. I love going to the coffee shop like you guys saw me do this morning. But honestly, there are cars out there that do it better. You know, like I said, there are definitely a lot of options for the money now. And another thing is these cars are kind of a cop magnet, you know, knock on wood, as I'm freaking filming here in this school that I'm not supposed to be at. But, you know, you got to be careful. You know, local law enforcement typically aren't kind to these cars because they're kind of from like the Fast and the Furious era. And, you know, you're probably going to need a daily driver. Every Evo owner that I know has like a built motor and really like actually sent it on their car. They don't daily drive their car for obvious reasons. They have so much money into it. And why would you want to put miles on your built engine to basically ruin it when you're not even racing it or doing what the car was built for? You know, you dropped like 8 G's or 10 G's or whatever on a long block and you're not even freaking racing it. You're just putting around to school or work or McDonald's, which that's cool too. You know, I think it's badass, but for a lot of people, they're not going to take their race car to the daily driving activities. They'll have an actual car for that. So that's just something to keep in mind. The internet talks about how these cars are indestructible and, you know, these cars don't break. It's not true. It's a machine. You know, it breaks just like any other car. And these are all things you have to consider because no Evo owner ever talks about it. People like to glorify the platform. They don't like to talk about its flaws or anything like that. I'm open-minded. I've had 4 of them. I don't mind sharing with you guys and anyone that it may help make an informed decision. I'm all about sharing it and putting it out there for you guys, so that way people can actually make the best choice that suits their lifestyle and goals. But yeah, guys, I can't really think of anything else to add to if you should or shouldn't own a Mitsubishi Evo 9 or 10 or 8 in 2023. If you guys have more comments or questions or anything, put them in the comments down below. I think that pretty much sums it up. Just know that you got to have a strong heart. You got to really love the Evo. You got to have some deep pockets if you want to go the distance on these cars. You're going to have a hard time finding certain parts, but that doesn't mean it's not possible, guys. There's guys that build R34 Skylines or R33s or people that build Chasers or Supras and all types of cars that we never even got in the US market. Not saying that some of those we didn't get, but just know that you got to have a commitment. You got to commit right out of the gate. And if you really, really want to own one of these cars, I think if you love it, it's a great platform. If you don't love Mitsubishi and you don't love Evos, then just don't even do it because you'll probably end up selling the car. That's what ends up happening to about 75–80% of these. People build it, break it, get over it, sell it, let the next person deal with it, and then the car's Mickey Mouse and the chassis just gets run to the ground. So soon I will take you guys through though some serious maintenance on this car soon, my buddy Sam, before we get into the actual modification of it. I'm excited. At some point the engine's gonna come out. I want to get a new short block, and I know you guys always ask me what are the plans for it, and I'll just repeat myself because I feel like I've said it a couple times. I want to make this like a 650 wheel stock block. It's a super fun car. If ever we build a 2.0, the most I'd ever want to make out of it's like 800. Once you start chasing that 900, 950 plus wheel horsepower, everything just kind of, I don't want to say becomes unreliable, but it becomes a gamble for sure. Anyway, guys, let's get out of here. Peace out, Cal Poly. Thank you, Mr. Police Officer that didn't come and harass me while I filmed my video. Right now, we actually got to go home. I got to pick up Alexis. She has to ship out a package to one of her friends that does makeup. And then we're also going to try a Japanese dessert place that kind of has no reason to be in this video, but I want to share with you guys just because I'm really curious how it is, and I don't know if it's good, then at least you guys will know Japanese cheesecake is good. We're gonna find out. But if you guys learned something new in this video, or if it helped you guys make a decision on buying an Evo, be sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, comment something. It helps the algorithm out a lot, and I really appreciate it. That way we can make cool videos and maybe someday get other cool cars. And just like that, she made it back home. All right, we're coming. What the hell is that? A stanced Camry? Look at this Camry, guys. Oh man, stunting. But this is the worst place ever to come with the Montero because this thing guzzles so much freaking gas. Way worse than the Tacoma, like literally. This thing is literally the most not fuel efficient car I've ever owned. I don't even fill it up because I think it's like a 20-gallon tank. And I don't really drive it that often. It's more of like a weekend cruiser car. Kind of similar to the Evo actually. I'm literally just gonna put 5 gallons in because I don't want to fill it up. The findings of the Japanese dollar store. I bet you some super old Asian dude owns this. I'm gonna offer him $500 for the car. He's gonna let it go. In case you guys are wondering what the Japanese dollar store is, it is none other than Daiso. And shout out to one of the dudes who said where the cat pillows are sold here. They sell a lot of good stuff here actually. Every time I come to Daiso, it makes me just want to go to Japan so bad. Just seeing all the stuff in yen and like, I don't know, all the cool efficiency filled stuff that Japan has. Because if you guys don't know, Japan is like one of the most efficient countries in the world. Alexis has successfully found the cat pillows. Are you sure you're gonna use it?
Yeah. The Evo seats are not comfortable. I'm sorry, but anybody who says those seats are comfortable are lying.
Loki, if you guys have a Daiso near you, they always have like a lot of kitchen stuff that is like relatively affordable. So if you guys love making your top ramens at home while saving for race car parts, but want a fancy bowl for them, Daiso is a great place to come and get one. And no, I'm not being paid to say this. They really just have super good selection of things for an affordable price. All the cups they have are super cool too. So Alexis and I have been talking about coming here for like a super long time. We're taking you guys with Japanese cheesecake, Uncle Tetsu in the window. So we're back home and I actually ended up getting some Japanese food, but I want to show you guys since now we're all invested in the Uncle Tetsu. What it looks like, you got this cool little wrap. It's kind of like, feels like a dryer sheet. It's a cheesecloth?
Yeah, it feels like it.
Feels like a dryer sheet.
It does feel like a dryer sheet.
There we go,
It
Uncle
smells
Tetsu. $13.
It's a little different texture than regular cheesecake. It's like fluffy. Almost.
Yeah, it's like a sponge cake.
Yeah, a sponge cake, like a pound cake. If you ever tried pound cake, that's what this tastes like.
Alrighty guys, it's been hours later. Went to the gym and smashed a workout, hit shoulders, and I'm about to edit today's video and realize that I never closed out the video. I hope you guys enjoyed and I hope that it helps someone out there in their pursuit of possibly owning an Evo. I highly recommend to really think about your goals with the car, really see if the car will line up with your goals and what you expect out of it for the money spent. Because honestly guys, everything right now is super expensive. Not just cars, just everything in general. Food, gas, housing, and you know, we all work hard for our money, and this is something that you should definitely think about. And there was a really good advice from that dude in blue a long time ago, and it kind of goes like, if you want to build a car, if you want to build a certain platform, talk to somebody who's done it first. And that's what I'd recommend you guys to do. Find someone in your local area, just see if that car lines up with what you want to do. Other than that guys, hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel. We have a lot more Evo content, just crazy car content coming your guys' way. Once we kind of get a little more established and the ball rolling in other areas, things are really gonna, you'll see it soon. But anyway guys, take care. See you next time. Peace out.